Good morning, great Americans. It is another great American video. It is a happy Thanksgiving video. This morning is Thanksgiving of 2024. Yeah, I'm in the right year, right? It's hard. It's crazy, man. Years go flying by and who knows what's going on. It is 2024. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. It's always a drag to politicize Thanksgiving. I'd rather not, but I'm gonna just a little bit, just because there's some just dumb stuff, just stupid stuff going on. What is, okay, look, I'm gonna be super brief. So my main message is Happy Thanksgiving. Have a happy Thanksgiving with family, with loved ones, with friends, but hopefully most with family and friends. And I say that because, listen, man, I sure hope this is common sense. And my hope is that what I'm about to talk about is being blown out of proportion by the media. And in fact, hardly nobody is subscribing to this nonsense. That's my hope, is that happens a lot of times, that a couple of little squeaky wheels get the grease, and it seems like it's happening everywhere, but it turns out that it's hardly happening anywhere, right? There's only a couple of kooky people, and sometimes the media has a habit of blowing that up into making it seem like it's happening everywhere. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about these idiots who are saying to, if they supported Trump, then don't spend Thanksgiving with your family if they supported Trump. That is just, I could spend an hour going on and why that is just so not only stupid and ignorant, but also cruel and mean and un-American and anti-Christian. It's just wrong on every level. But let me just hit a couple of bullet points. First of all, if you see anybody who's supposedly some sort of mental expert, some sort of psychologist or psychiatrist or counselor or something, as we have seen on a couple of these, fake news outlets like MSNBC, which hopefully will be gone soon, and CNN. If you see someone like that, a so-called professional, recommending that you don't spend Thanksgiving with family because they voted for Trump, you're looking at a fake and a fraud. I don't care if they went to school and they got their degree and they can put a few letters at the end of their name. They're still fakes and frauds. And let me tell you something. I'm going to make a video about this coming up soon. But fakes and frauds who promote fake science have now infiltrated the sciences and the medical community, and this is an extreme danger, right? Okay, I mean, because these are people who are often called upon as experts, expert witnesses, and legal proceedings and other kinds of proceedings, and it's like the old saying of putting the crazy people in charge of the asylum, right? Or putting the fox in charge of the hen house. The crazy people are now the ones called upon, and then decisions will be made based on their fake science, and it's going to be a domino effect. Very dangerous, man, for all kinds of reasons. The groom, the transgender surgery, and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want to go into that right now. This is Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll touch on that in another video. But the point is, if you hear one of these stupid doctors saying don't go to Thanksgiving, you know that they're a fake. They're a fake. They're a fraud. They are a corrupt doctor or professional. They are corrupted, and they are promoting a political agenda instead of actual, real, honest medicine or medical advice. So do not believe one of those people. And when you see one of those people, do what you can to report them for, I mean, because that's just fake advice. It's just ridiculous. It's just stupid. How is that healthy to say I am going to hate on my family because of their particular who they wanted to vote for? How is that in any way healthy? It's not. Okay, so those people are frauds. That's number one. Number two is something interesting. This happens every year. And you hear these stupid, goofy kids on college campuses talking about, oh, Thanksgiving is just, it's not real. We should not be celebrating it. You know, the white man committed genocide on the American Indian, and there was no peaceful coming together of you know, the story of the pilgrims and the, or whoever it was, the colonists and the Indians coming together on Thanksgiving Day. It's all a bunch of bullshit, blah blah blah. Listen, first of all, that's a lie. It's not a bunch of bullshit. But irregardless of the accuracy of the stories of the so-called first Thanksgiving, those have absolutely nothing to do with Thanksgiving. Okay, George Washington, I'm going to put a link to this in the description of this video, by the way. George Washington, many years after the so-called first Thanksgiving story, George Washington wrote a proclamation about, I should have brought it up and read a little bit of it, but that's okay. Wrote a proclamation about Thanksgiving, and he talked about how all nations should give thanks to the Almighty Creator, and for our plentiful bounty. It had nothing to do with the so-called story. George Washington basically just said, look, we have been blessed with bounty, plenty of food and farmland and wonderful, nice land, and we should give thanks to it. And of course, who are we giving thanks to? Well, who else but God? You know, he didn't specify which God. You know, I mean, if you're a Muslim or Jewish or Christian or you're a deist or whatever you are, that doesn't matter. It's about giving thanks to the Creator who gave us all this wonderful bounty. That's what Thanksgiving's about. It has nothing to do with the validity. I never really understood why the so-called story of the first Thanksgiving has anything at all to do with Thanksgiving, because it doesn't. What George Washington wrote in his proclamation for Thanksgiving has everything to do with Thanksgiving. And it's very simple. It's right in the word. It's baked into the cake, the very word, thanksgiving, or giving thanks. And who are we giving thanks to? Well, who gave us the plentiful bounty and the rich farmland and the wonderful weather to grow food and great food and all kinds of God. Come on, man. Now, if you don't believe in God, that's a whole other problem, and I'm not going into that right now. But that's what Thanksgiving. So you know, so don't focus on these stories about the first Thanksgiving. I mean, they're trying to spread a lot of lies about that, but I mean, it's not even. It's really irrelevant to the point. The point is getting together and giving thanks. And traditionally in America, we get together with family. Usually, that's the way of family, close friends. Um, Maybe you can invite someone who's alone and doesn't have, or whatever, all that kind of stuff. That's what Thanksgiving's about. So don't listen to the crazies out there. And I tell you, I've been watching some of these videos. Oh, I'm not going to spend Thanksgiving with my family because they voted for Trump. It's not good for my mental health. Let me tell you something. You've already got mental health issues if that's how you think. I mean, what a stupid. I mean, look, for 200 and what is it now, 60 years, Americans have been voting, and very often, you know, family members vote for different people or whatever. This whole bit, I've got another video on this about fake news. You should watch it, because this is another fine example of what I mentioned in my fake news video, how the real danger of fake news is how it builds upon itself, right? This, if you watch my other video, then you will know that this stuff about Thanksgiving is yet another layer of the fake news building upon itself. Right? First, you start off with the fake news about Trump. Oh, he's a racist and a this. And then you build more fake news on top of that and more and more. And now you get to Thanksgiving where people hate Trump because they think he's evil, but they only think he's evil because of the previous fake news. None of that is true. He's not a racist. He's not a fascist. It's stupid to say he's a fascist. He's not going to destroy democracy. I mean, that's just stupid. He was already president for 4 years. Did he destroy democracy? No. If anything, he made it better than what Biden did. So all these lies, hateful lies and propaganda that have been told about Trump for years now have now brought us to the point to where the stupid idiots who believe those lies, now they can't even handle, they're so snowflakey and so fragile. Now they can't even handle having Thanksgiving with a family member because the family member voted for Trump. And their anger and their emotions are all based on lies and fake news. I tell you what, fake news. When Donald Trump called fake news the enemy of the people, and people mocked him for it because they say that those words are reminiscent of Stalinism and all that stuff, he was not wrong. Fake news and propaganda that's put out by CNN and ABC and the rest, it truly is the enemy of the people. Look what it's doing now. It's dividing families based on lies. It interfered with election. Thank God we won the election anyway, but boy, they sure tried to throw it. If Trump had lost, it would have been a loss based on fake news lies. Fake news really is the enemy of the people. I'm so sorry. I started off this video saying Happy Thanksgiving, but I mean, I had to touch those 2 points. Don't listen to the fake doctors telling you to stay away from your family, and don't believe the lies that these stupid people are saying about the first Thanksgiving, because it doesn't really matter anyway. Thanksgiving is about giving thanks for all we have. And for all the anger and everything going on around the election, all that stuff, we cannot forget. It's so easy to forget how much we have. How many of you, especially you young people, I would recommend that you take a day to sit back and think hard about how people lived just a few centuries ago. Let's say like in the 1600s or the 1500s, and then go backwards from there, the 1400s, the millennia, the medieval times, the Dark Ages, and then around the time of the Roman Empire, when Rome was made up of 80% slaves and 20% citizens, and go backwards from there, and just think about how people lived under the oppression of kings who thought they were gods, Caesars and pharaohs, and life was all about just misery. And I mean, the whole idea of elections and rights, I mean, come on. None of that ever existed. And now you live in an age where you can go to a store and buy stuff. Even the poorest person in America enjoys technological wonders that people long ago never could have even dreamed of. You have life so good. Why don't you take a day out from your whining, your crying, and your bitching and thank God for how good you have it? There was a time when people died at age 30 or 40. That's just the way it was. Girls in the Roman Empire had kids like at age 11 because they were probably going to be dead by 30 something. No medicine, I mean, I really, if you're a college kid or a young person, take some time today to think about life during the Dark Ages, during medieval times, during the Roman Empire, during the pharaohs in ancient Egypt, or the Huns, the Huns, or yeah, what are the ones from China? Who am I thinking of? The Mongols. Think about life under those situations, and that's how life was for the average human being for many millennia or worse. And only in very recent times, the last 150 years or something like that, do we enjoy the fruits of a free civilization? I mean, really, man, be thankful. Be thankful that your life is not a life of drudgery and labor just so you can have the bare essentials for living. Give thanks for the time and the country that you live in, and remember that. For Pete's sake, man. That's all I got to say. But anyway, happy Thanksgiving. Coming up is Merry Christmas, and it will be a Merry Christmas. And I will see you in the next great American video. Adios, muchachos.